everybody. Now we're getting to that. Spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. And make sure you hydrate. So critical. Drink your water, please. Please, please, and thank you. Namaste. All right, let's get started. So we are on the four agreements, and of course, we are talking about. Oh shoot, I have my mic over here. Good morning. Sorry, I didn't mic myself up, so I don't know if you guys heard me on the Podbean. But Natalie coming to that Spirit and Coffee bloopers. We do bloopers for Spirit and Coffee. Be hilarious. Got my pajamas on, as you can see. I don't have to be work till later, so I get to roll out of bed and be comfy on this live video. Yay. Okay. I had a coworker tell me I wear pajamas to work. Can you believe that? I was like, are you kidding me? I don't wear pajamas to work. Apparently my attire looks like pajamas. Ugh, that's too much. Anyway, I think it's kind of funny. But good morning, Tim. How are you? Thank you for your messages, by the way, Tim. I appreciate them. Good morning, Jacqueline. All right, let's get going. Remember, always do your best. That's what we're at. That's where we're at on our in the book. Thank you for the love, the hearts. I appreciate it. Okay, on the other hand, if we take action just for the sake of doing without expecting a reward, you will find that you enjoy every action you do. We talked about this yesterday, doing the things that you love rather than doing things to be rewarded for money or compensation, because then it's sort of just, we're just doing it for a prize. But really, we get to find the things internally that we love, and that's the prize, that we're doing the things we love. Just like yesterday, I said, you guys are my prize. You showing up here, showing up for yourself, and coming to just do your best, right? Or learn some information or whatever it is that you're here for. That you guys show up for yourself, and that to me is the prize. That's truly a blessing. And when you can step into something you love and start to see the blessings, the rewards are not necessarily monetary. But we do this, we get stuck in our 9 to 5 and we do it to get money. And of course, we get frustrated, right? And it's not really that fun. We don't enjoy life, right? Because now we're just doing it for the reward, as opposed to doing it for the internal happiness that is sort of ignited in us when we're doing things, okay? When you do your best, you don't give the judge the opportunity to find you guilty or to blame you. If you've done your best and the judge tries to judge you according to your book of law, you've got the answer. I did my best. There's no regrets. That is why we always do our best. It's not an easy agreement to keep, but this agreement really is going to set you free. And that's, when we say do your best, it's not like do your best, sell out on yourself and say you did your best when you know you could have done more either, because the guilt will still arise in you. Now, is guilt a bad thing? No, because I think guilt will sort of, in some people, if you know how to use the energy correctly, you can transform it into a meaningful, what is it, the fire, the drive, or the inspiration inside you to actually get a task done. So sometimes it's good to have a little bit of that guilt, because you're like, you know what, I could have done better. I feel guilty. Tomorrow, let me bring my best. Let me do the best work that I can do. Let me give it a little bit more than I gave today. And I can do that. I can do that because why? Because I know I have more to give. And I know that I feel a little bit guilty that I didn't give it my all. They say leave it all on the field, right? Leave it out on the field. So think about it, for those of you who watch sports, and they always have these championships at the end, two teams battling it out for the trophy. Now, if it's something that you love, They go and they do their best. They leave it out on the field. Everything that they've got, they give it everything that they got to the last second. Even if they're behind, they try to like do some miracle stuff to bring it back, right? And so again, that's the same with you. What's going to drive you to give your best, to feel your best, to go out and give it all of it, 120 billion%. Now, 120 billion% today may look like 50% tomorrow. Your 100 may look like 50. That's okay. As long as you're giving it what you can that day, everything that you've got. So I'm doing sales right now, right? I'm starting to do sales and I work on commissions. Pretty cool, right? I did this purposefully, just so you know. I lived my life intentionally. I intentionally went out and found a career like this. Why? Because I want to learn. I want to learn how to do this. And there are days in sales, for those of you who are salespeople, that you know that you give it your all and you've done, exhausted everything you can and you've made 0 sales. But you know you've given it your all and you know that you've done your best. And it's okay. You can't force people to buy things or do things or whatever, and that's fine. It's being okay with that. And then after knowing that you've set the stage for what maybe tomorrow looks like a truly huge, successful day for you, because you did your best that day, that you're sort of putting money in the bank to build up something bigger. And then the next day, before you know it, everything that you did the day before led up to this one day where everything just seems to go good. And you're just like making 6, 7 sales right away in one day. So that's kind of how it works. And I couldn't talk about sales in the past really because I wasn't on a sales position. I mean, I kind of did sales, but and this is a critical to your life. And you'll notice that people who do sales as their career tend to talk about these leadership skills, tend to talk about always doing your best, read books like this. Why? Because it's a game of you can't force people, basically. That's why. The game is I can't force you, but I get to enroll you into something that I believe to be good for you. Now, would I be in this position if I didn't believe in it? Absolutely not. I believe in it. I through my heart, through my core, believe. I believe in the mission of this. Jacqueline, share the live show. Share the live show? How do you mean share the live show? Tell me what you mean, Jacqueline. That we give it all we got. So salespeople, good morning, Doreen, will typically do leadership, talk about leadership. They will do leadership trainings. They will read books like this. I mean, I can read all the books, the Greatest Salesman in the World, an amazing book, even if you're not in sales. Why? Because when you read it, it conditions your mind to know that we've got to give it all we got, that we can leave it out on the field, that we can just go out there and be motivated and say, yeah, I didn't do my best. You're going to feel guilty if you don't do your best. That's just part of the process. You will feel guilty. Why? Because you know that you could have done better. You know that you could have done more. And you kind of sold yourself out. So that's what this is. I shared your live show to some of my friends, so you got the above message automatically. Oh, thank you, Jacqueline. I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. I love that. Appreciate you. Good morning, Salem. Good morning, Nurse. Good morning, Meehan. Good morning, Vidal. Good morning, PBG 149 FB9 PG. Sometimes I get. Good morning, Kevster. So leaving it out on the field, okay? All of it. Doing your best really doesn't feel like work because you enjoy whatever you're doing. You know you're doing your best when you are enjoying the actions or doing it in a way that will not have negative repercussions for you. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. There's a big difference between wanting to and having to. Okay? People say, I have to. You don't have to do anything. And eventually, if I say, okay, is it true that you have to do that? People will say no. And eventually it leads to all I have to do is die. Well, you don't even have to do that. It will sort of creep up and happen if you don't take care of yourself. But you don't have to do anything. When you switch your mind from a have to I get to, There's a difference in the mindset of a have to and a get to. A get to is like, yes, I get to do this. I'm super excited about it. I have to is like, oh my God, I have to. It becomes a burden, right? It becomes something in our mind. And there's a trigger that happens with the word have to. It's an obligation. It becomes an obligation. When we get to, it becomes this fun adventure that we get to go on, something that we get to do. So looking at your life and asking yourself, what are my have tos and what are my get tos? Can I switch my have tos to get to? Can I be excited about it? Like people will say, I have to pick up my kids. No, you don't. Yeah, but then they'll just walk, but you don't have to. But you get to, right? I get to pick them up. Why? So that I could see them, so I can love them, so all that. So when you start thinking differently, you engage with an activity from a different mindset. Okay. It's about switching the mindset, which I'm sure you guys have heard, so that you can engage in your life in a different way. So you can engage in these things and perceive them in a different aspect. Okay. Okay. So, you know that you're doing your best when you are enjoying the action or doing it in a way that will not have a negative repercussions for you. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to do it, not because you're trying to please or judge or please the judge, and not because you're trying to please other people. This is another big thing. Good morning, Patrick. How are you? I haven't seen you in so long. This is another one. You're trying to please because trying to please the judge, not because you're trying to please other people. So when we do things to please other people, that's not the point I was trying to make. Then I saw Patrick and you make me get off topic. Sorry. Good morning, Quinn and Ashish. Okay. You want to do it not because you have to, not because you're trying to please the judge, and not because you're trying to please other people. So when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, you will still have the regret if you're doing it from a place of trying to please other people. If you're doing it from a place of trying to shut the judge up in your head, like, and you will still have that regret if you don't give it your all. The judge will come up in your mind and say, you didn't get it done. Why didn't you get it done? We live in a world of procrastination. I'm drinking water right now because I'm a little dehydrated. But we live in the world of procrastination where it's like last minute everything. And instead of saying, okay, here's what I want to do. I'm driven by this thing. And when we start to look at ourselves and say, okay, I know that the judge is going to come up, but I want to do what I want to do for the pleasure that I want to do it, not necessarily doing these tasks that are not pleasurable. Now, are we going to have to do tasks that are unpleasurable? Absolutely. Part of life. Can we shift our mindset around this? Absolutely. Part of life, our choice. How do we do that? Of course, we practice, and of course, we understand how we're engaging a situation. Are we coming from the space of, I have to do this, instead of, where can I find the joy in what I'm doing? How do I find the joy in what I'm doing in this moment? And then how do I shift into something that I always feel joyful about? The work that I'm doing now, okay, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience because I don't speak on behalf of things I haven't experienced myself. I would not ask you guys to do things I have not. I'm living a joyful life. I love what I'm doing. Why? Because I'm doing what I love. Because I got really real with myself and I did a pivot in my life. I pivot. So you pivot in life so that you can align with what your true desires are and your happiness. You say, I'm happy about this. This is what I love. Peg it to 4 things in your life. Find the 4 things that are common in your life. Like if you got up today, I would close your eyes, think about it, breathe into it. If I got up today, what would my day look like if I didn't have any of the things that I have to do? What would I be doing? I pegged it to 4 things, right? The 4 things were, well, one, I do spirit and coffee. This is something that I do. I don't get paid to do this. I do it because I love it, right? Because I want to, because this is something that internally I get some joy. I feel the joy. I bring the joy to you guys. I want to bring some kind of wisdom to you guys, some kind of knowledge and wisdom and understanding. So I do that. So I said, I do spirit and coffee. Okay. So get clear with yourself. What is it something that you do daily that if you didn't even have to get paid that you would do? So we have that. Okay. That's one. Then two, I said, oh, I work out and I eat healthy. Those are the things I love to do. Okay. Good. I love to read. Right. So I just looked at all of the things that I like and I pegged them to 4. So it was work out, eat healthy. It was read, spirit and coffee, and then doing work with, I do some other subcontract work on the side. And I said, okay, I like doing this stuff. Now, can I create my life around these 4 things? How do I create a life around these 4 things? Well, I know spirit and coffee is going to happen every morning, Monday through Friday. So that's checkbox off. But how do I generate money if I'm not generating money from spirit and coffee, right? How do I generate money? I got to live. Well, I love working out. So I decided to get a career change into a club, that health and wellness club that focuses on health and wellness. So I'm going to embody myself in that. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be new to that industry. I'm going to learn and understand and be teachable and drop into my, I don't know. So I'm learning the industry, right? That's what I decided to do. So it's, you guys sometimes have to take a risk and do a pivot in your life where you're looking at your career choices and you're saying, here's what I get to do with my life at this point. I want to blah, 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 whatever it is. And it's taking that chance. And I'll tell you what happened and how it happened is because I was looking for a job. And I was like, what could I do? You know, like I can continue to do this nonprofit work, but I didn't want to do nonprofit in this specific way. So I asked myself, how do I pivot into the things that I love? Well, my stepdad said, have you ever thought that maybe you're looking in the wrong places? And I thought, that's I love that idea. Why? Because now I can look towards the things that I put on this list of things. And I said, he's right. Let me look at this. What if I looked in the health field, in the health industry, at like gyms or, workout spaces? Where would I want to be? And everything flowed instantaneously. It happened like that in a snap. I had been applying, wasn't getting much bite, and then boom, something came up, tried it, boom, and it came through. That's living in the flow of life. People will say, well, you magnetized, it's the secret. Kind of. The secret kind of goes over it, but it's really you getting clear about what it is you truly desire in your life and what you want to create. In those 4 things, I am not going to go outside the box from those 4 things right now. Why? Because that's enough. If I start to say yes to other things, I start to pivot and go off the path, and then I have to bring myself back. So go out. That's kind of your homework today. Go out and write down those 4 things. The 4, if it's 3, that's fine. Even if it's 2, but no less than 2, no more than 4. Go out and write down the 4 things that you absolutely love to do. If one of them is a hobby, that's fine. And ask yourself, can any of these generate the funds that I need while I'm doing the other ones? You don't want to give up your passions and your fun time and the things that you love that are not generating money. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. My friend's like, oh, success is money. I said, no, not for me. Yes, I got to eat. And yes, I will find a way to feed myself, obviously. But success, even in this podcast, is you guys, again, showing up for yourself, showing up for you, not for me, but showing up for you so that you can say, hey, I deserve to live my life to the fullest? How do I live my life to the fullest? What information from this podcast or this book that this person's reading, or some of the information she's given, are her own life experiences or other people's when they chime in, because you guys are always welcome to chime in and give your opinions, because it helps, right? It helps when you guys write stuff out too. Good morning, Deep Waters. How do I utilize that information so that I can then pivot my life and start to create the life that I choose? This means a lot, though. I can go on for days, and I've talked about it. So if you haven't listened to past podcasts, do it, because it takes a lot of courage, and it takes you stepping away from things that you were afraid to step away from. If you've built this foundation for your life that is actually comfortable for you, but you don't enjoy it, sometimes we have to break down that entire structure and rebuild it up. This is the hard part for most people. Most people are afraid to break down the structure that they currently have, because if it falls apart, what? They're going to end up homeless. They're going to end up, you won't, not especially if you have faith. Things will always work themselves out if you believe. If you allow yourself to let go and then to pivot your career and to put yourself in a situation where you're actually walking your divine birthright. I can tell you that I'm very, very close to just walking in my true, authentic self. Am I 100% there? No. Am I ever going to be? No, because life is life. And it's never 100, but it's close enough that I can say, okay, I feel good. I'm in this spot right now. Let me build from here. And then I can build up. Okay. So that is your homework today. We are almost done with this chapter of always do your best. I really like this chapter, like I said before. I like how it's talking about the internal judge that we have if we don't do our best. Remember, we judge ourselves when we don't do our best. I had dreams when I was young that I didn't graduate high school. And I did. And I would wake up and I'd be like, why did I dream that I didn't graduate high school? It's the weirdest thing ever. It's like this thing inside of me. There was this guilt, like I didn't do it right. And then I said, you know why? It's because I didn't go to college. And when I graduated college, the dream went away. Because I knew inside of me that's what I wanted. And I wasn't doing it. Sure.
Talk about Sigmund Freud. Talk about
Oh, you want to come over here so they can hear it? So I have a special guest. My niece has been on here before. Chucky is what we call her. So hold on here. Get the mic. So Chucky's 17 years old, by the way, just so you know.
So I'm currently going to the university and I am taking psychology 101, and speaking on her having a dream about not graduating college because that's what she wanted to do, like initially in her unconscious mind. Sigmund Freud made a theory on I think it's like the unconscious fulfillment theory, and that's when you dream your uttermost like want and you try to manifest it outward, pretty much, is like his theory on dreams and stuff. So I just thought I'd let you guys know about some psychology. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, though. I just took a quarterly exam, so I think that's what it's called. But,
Okay, what is it called?
The unconscious fulfillment theory.
The unconscious fulfillment theory, which is funny because I was born on the same day as Sigmund Freud, by the way. So y'all can look up and see when my birthday is. Same day as Sigmund Freud. Kind of scary because that guy was a little kooky. I'm a little kooky, but not like that. It's just funny, right? Sigmund Freud born on the same day, talking about the unfulfilled subconscious, which it does happen. When we don't fulfill it, our subconscious mind will hold on to it and replay it, and it'll replay it in a distorted way. It's not like, because the dream was that I didn't graduate high school, but really I wanted to go to college. When I graduated college, the dream went away. So dreams are critical. They're kind of a mark point to tell us, like, what is it that we're unfulfilling in our life? The desires, the dreams, the hopes, things that we didn't finish that we know we wanted to accomplish, things that we knew that we wanted to do. You have the ability to do that. You actually have the ability to do that. Hello, Mahabali. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the love. And so when we unfulfill those things or those dreams that we have, we tend to play them out in our subconscious mind. So, yes, I'm a walking example of that, and perhaps an incarnation of Sigmund Freud with a better version. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Good morning, Zion. Zion. Good morning, Scott. The work works. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. I apologize, Scott. Um, Okay, so there you have it. And you do have my niece, who's a 17-year-old, who's making lots of noise in the background. So if you hear that, I apologize. Um,
Sorry.
but again, you guys go out, find your four things. Four things, okay? And remember, no, no less than two, no more than four. And write them down and ask yourself, can I create my life around these four things, or two things, or three things? Can I do this? And the answer is always going to be yes, of course you can. The universe never says no. It'll say yes to everything. So there you go. All right. So there you have it. We thank Deja, our special guest, for coming on and telling us about some psychology. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for Podbean for showing up. Whisper, I don't know if I said good morning to everybody. Scott, I did say good morning. Good morning, Fatima, GH. Oh, is it Fate? Meh? GH? I don't know. Sorry. I probably butchered the names on here. But there you have it. Have a fantastical day. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Okay, love you, mean it. Bye.